Have you ever observed individuals who navigate complex social landscapes with an almost uncanny ease, seemingly unaffected by chaos, yet consistently achieving their objectives? You might feel an intriguing pull towards understanding this quiet authority, this subtle influence that shapes outcomes without overt displays of force. This isn't about brute strength, but a refined understanding of human nature and its intricate dynamics. This video aims to demystify the Machiavellian Code, exploring its principles not as a guide to malevolent manipulation, but as a framework for understanding and operating within power structures. You will discover how a strategic mindset, often associated with historical figures like Niccolo Machiavelli, can illuminate the subtle forces at play in our interactions, offering a unique perspective on social influence. We will delve into 13 distinct laws of silence and discreet manipulation. You will learn to identify these tactics, understand their psychological underpinnings, and consider their implications, both when applied by others and when consciously adopted by yourself. Our focus remains on ethical understanding and self-awareness, enabling you to navigate the world with greater clarity and resilience. As someone deeply fascinated by psychology and philosophy, I've spent years analyzing historical texts and contemporary social dynamics to discern patterns of effective influence. My aim here is to present these concepts with integrity, encouraging critical thought rather than blind application. This is an exploration, not an endorsement of unethical conduct, always prioritizing ethical engagement. Understanding these laws requires a foundation in recognizing how perceptions are formed and trust is built or eroded in any relationship. Before we dissect the specific laws, let's establish the fundamental context of why discretion and calculated thought hold such significant psychological power in human interactions. To truly grasp the essence of Machiavellian thought, you must first acknowledge its historical roots, recognizing that its core tenets often stem from observations of human behavior under pressure. Niccolo Machiavelli, observing the volatile political landscape of Renaissance Italy, documented strategies employed by rulers to maintain stability and power. His work, The Prince, was a pragmatic analysis, not necessarily a moralistic endorsement. At its heart, Machiavellian philosophy, when approached analytically, teaches you to observe human nature without illusion. It suggests that individuals are often driven by self-interest, fear, and ambition. Understanding these fundamental motivators provides a critical lens through which to interpret actions and predict reactions, forming the bedrock of effective psychological power. You might encounter different interpretations of this philosophy. Some view it as a cynical roadmap to tyranny, while others see it as a realistic guide for navigating complex power dynamics in any sphere of life. Our exploration will lean towards the latter, empowering you to recognize and analyze these dynamics in professional settings, social circles, and even personal relationships. Imagine you are playing a game of chess where every move has consequences, and anticipating your opponent's strategy is paramount. This strategic foresight, rooted in an understanding of human psychology, is a central theme. It's about seeing beyond immediate appearances, recognizing underlying motives, and making informed decisions, much like mastering emotional control in high-stakes situations. This foundational understanding provides the necessary mental framework to approach the practical laws we are about to discuss. It sets the stage for how silence and discreet actions can be leveraged, preparing you to examine the powerful role of withholding information and maintaining an enigma, beginning with the first law, maintaining a reserved demeanor. The first law of this code suggests that you consistently maintain a reserved demeanor. This isn't about being overtly shy or unapproachable, but about cultivating an aura of quiet composure that reveals little. When you present yourself as someone who doesn't readily expose their inner world, you naturally become an object of curiosity, an individual whose thoughts and intentions remain elusive. You'll find that this practice grants you a significant psychological advantage. By not oversharing, you deny others easy access to your vulnerabilities, your fears, or even your enthusiastic hopes. This measured approach keeps them guessing, preventing them from anticipating your next move or leveraging your emotional responses against you in critical moments. It's a fundamental aspect of emotional control. This reserved posture also prevents premature judgment. When you speak sparingly, your words carry more weight, as they are perceived as carefully considered rather than impulsive utterances. People tend to attribute greater wisdom and depth to those who are deliberate in their communication, enhancing your perceived authority and competence in any given situation. Consider the individuals you encounter who command immediate respect. Often, they are not the loudest in the room, but those who possess an almost stoic calm. Their controlled expressions and measured responses project an inner strength. This demeanor also creates a shield against attempts at social manipulation, as your reactions are not easily provoked or exploited. As you cultivate this reserved exterior, you begin to appreciate the insights gained from observing others who freely express themselves. This leads naturally to our second law, which amplifies the power of observation and positions you as a keen student of human behavior rather than an open book, speaking little and listening more. Building upon the foundation of a reserved demeanor, the second law emphasizes the profound value of speaking little and listening more. You possess 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. This ancient wisdom underscores the strategic advantage gained by absorbing information rather than constantly broadcasting your own. Your silence becomes a powerful tool of reconnaissance. When you predominantly listen, you invite others to fill the void, often revealing their true thoughts, desires, and even weaknesses. People tend to be more comfortable disclosing information when they feel heard and not constantly interrupted or challenged. This provides you with invaluable data about their motivations, allegiances, and potential strategies, which is crucial for psychological power. You'll notice that the act of active listening also conveys respect and intelligence. Individuals often feel drawn to those who genuinely pay attention, building a subtle rapport that can be leveraged later. This doesn't mean feigning interest, but genuinely engaging with what is being said, discerning the overt message from the underlying intent. Furthermore, by holding back your own opinions and judgments, you prevent yourself from being boxed into a particular stance too early. This flexibility allows you to adapt your position as more information comes to light, making you appear thoughtful and judicious rather than impulsive. It's a key component of a Machiavellian mindset applied ethically. The comprehensive data gathered through disciplined listening fuels your ability to respond with precision and foresight. This trove of insights, gained through quiet observation, prepares you to master the subtleties of communication and action. Next, we will explore how even your words, when chosen carefully, can serve to further your strategic advantage. The art of ambiguity. Having understood the power of silence and attentive listening, you can now appreciate Law 3, mastering the art of ambiguity. This involves communicating in ways that are precise enough to convey a general message, yet sufficiently vague to allow for multiple interpretations. Your words become adaptable tools rather than concrete commitments, safeguarding your flexibility. You'll find that this tactic is particularly potent because it prevents you from being pinned down to a definitive position, granting you a safe retreat should circumstances change. When you speak with calculated vagueness, you leave room for maneuver, avoiding rigid declarations that could later prove disadvantageous or reveal your true intentions prematurely. Consider how political figures or skilled negotiators often employ this technique. They articulate broad visions or general agreements, leaving the granular details for later or for others to interpret. This allows them to appeal to a wider audience or maintain options open, demonstrating a sophisticated application of psychological power in discourse. Moreover, ambiguity can compel others to project their own desires or fears onto your words. They may hear what they want to hear, leading them to act in ways that inadvertently benefit your unspoken agenda. This subtle form of influence leverages their own internal biases, making them collaborators in their own persuasion without direct manipulation. The deliberate use of imprecise language, therefore, becomes a shield and a probe simultaneously. It protects your true aims while subtly eliciting information from others' reactions. This brings us naturally to the next crucial law, which takes this protection a step further. Guarding your true intentions closely, a practice essential for maintaining strategic advantage. Following the mastery of ambiguity, Law 4 instructs you to guard your intentions closely. This principle asserts that by keeping your ultimate goals and motivations hidden, you become unpredictable, denying others the ability to anticipate or thwart your long-term plans. Your true objectives remain a mystery, allowing you to operate with greater freedom. You might observe that when your intentions are unclear, opponents and allies alike are forced to speculate, often expending their energy trying to decipher your moves rather than focusing on their own. This psychological diversion can create opportunities for you to advance your agenda unimpeded, a key element of a Machiavellian mindset in action. This doesn't imply deception, but rather strategic discretion. It means presenting your actions in a way that suggests motives other than your true ones, or simply performing them without explicit declaration of purpose. You act and let others interpret, allowing their assumptions to guide their reactions, giving you a subtle form of control. Think of it as playing poker with a masterful poker face. Your external actions might seem straightforward, but your underlying strategy remains unreadable. This skill prevents others from seeing the full picture, ensuring they cannot construct effective countermeasures against your objectives, thereby enhancing your overall psychological power. By consistently maintaining this veil over your intentions, you not only protect your plans, but also cultivate an air of intrigue around yourself. This mystery naturally leads into our next law, which explores how to intentionally develop this captivating persona. Cultivating an air of mystery, a potent ingredient for discreet influence. With your intentions closely guarded, you are now poised to embrace Law 5. Cultivate an air of mystery. This involves strategically revealing just enough about yourself to pique curiosity, but never so much that you become fully understood. You become a fascinating enigma, drawing people in while maintaining your psychological distance and control. You'll find that an enigmatic persona possesses an inherent magnetic quality. People are naturally drawn to what they don't fully comprehend, investing more effort and thought into understanding someone who remains partially veiled. This generates sustained interest and discussion about you, often elevating your perceived importance without any overt effort on your part. This doesn't require you to be secretive in a negative sense, but rather selective about what you share. You might offer intriguing insights or observations without divulging their origin or your full perspective. This measured disclosure creates layers, ensuring that there's always more to discover, sustaining the engagement of those around you. Consider historical figures or fictional characters who remain compelling precisely because they are not fully transparent. Their untold stories and unstated motives make them memorable. You too can harness this effect, using it to maintain an advantage in social and professional settings, establishing a unique form of psychological power. By consistently keeping a part of yourself in shadow, you reinforce the impression that you possess hidden depths and strategic reserves. This subtle allure influences how others perceive and interact with you, a cornerstone of discreet manipulation. Speaking of influence, if you're finding these insights valuable, consider subscribing and joining our community for more explorations into the Machiavellian mindset. This leads us to our next principle, leveraging calculated indifference, a powerful display of emotional control. As you master the art of mystery, you arrive at Law 6. Leverage calculated indifference. This principle encourages you to demonstrate a measured lack of emotional reaction to events that might typically provoke a strong response. It's about projecting an almost stoic composure, suggesting that you are above the fray and unaffected by trivialities or provocations. You will observe that this detached demeanor can be incredibly disarming. When others expect an emotional outburst or a defensive reaction and receive only calm impartiality, their attempts to provoke or control you often fall flat. This deprives them of the emotional leverage they sought, shifting the power dynamic firmly in your favor, a testament to effective emotional control. This strategy doesn't mean becoming genuinely emotionless. Rather, it's about controlling the display of your emotions. You might feel a strong internal reaction, but your external manifestation remains serene, unreadable. This consistency builds an image of inner strength and unwavering resolve, reinforcing your psychological power. Consider how those who remain calm in a crisis are often perceived as leaders. Their emotional stability inspires confidence in others. By adopting a stance of calculated indifference, you can project similar leadership qualities, even in less dramatic scenarios, positioning yourself as a reliable and formidable presence. It aligns strongly with Stoicism's emphasis on inner tranquility. The quiet power of detachment forces others to reconsider their assumptions about your vulnerabilities and reactions. It subtly pressures them to reveal more of their own hand, in an attempt to elicit a response. This prepares us for the next law, understanding unspoken cues, which capitalizes on the information others inadvertently reveal through their nonverbal communication. Building on the discipline of calculated indifference, Law 7 emphasizes your ability to understand unspoken cues. This involves honing your observational skills to interpret body language, facial microexpressions, vocal inflections, and subtle gestures that often reveal more truth than spoken words. You learn to read between the lines, even when no lines are spoken. You'll discover that a significant portion of human communication is nonverbal. By paying close attention to these often unconscious signals, you gain insight into others' true feelings, intentions, and levels of comfort or discomfort. This ability provides you with a distinct advantage, allowing you to gauge reactions and adjust your strategy accordingly, a core aspect of dark psychology understanding. This isn't about mind reading, but rather about developing a keen awareness of universal human indicators. A sudden shift in posture, fleeting eye contact, or a subtle change in vocal tone can betray anxiety, dishonesty, or eagerness. These are valuable fragments of information that, when pieced together, paint a clearer picture of the situation. Imagine yourself as a detective, piecing together clues from a scene where everyone is trying to control the narrative. The unspoken cues are your most reliable witnesses, providing objective data that bypasses conscious attempts at deception. This skill significantly enhances your capacity for discreet manipulation by informing your every move. By mastering the interpretation of these subtle signals, you gain an unparalleled understanding of the psychological landscape you navigate. This deep insight into human behavior prepares you to engage with others more effectively and persuasively, leading us to our next law: using flattery judiciously, a tool that, when wielded ethically, can build bridges. With a sharpened awareness of unspoken cues, you can now approach Law 8, use flattery judiciously. This principle advises that carefully chosen and sincere compliments can be powerful tools for building rapport and gaining influence, but they must always feel genuine and be sparingly applied to avoid appearing manipulative. Your praise carries weight when it's earned. You'll find that sincere appreciation is a fundamental human need. When you genuinely acknowledge someone's strengths, achievements, or positive qualities, you tap into this need, fostering goodwill and making them more receptive to your presence and ideas. This builds a psychological connection, opening doors that might otherwise remain closed. However, the key lies in discernment. Excessive or unwarranted flattery is easily perceived as insincere and can backfire, eroding trust rather than building it. Therefore, your praise should be specific, authentic, and directed at real qualities, efforts that you truly admire, demonstrating keen observation from your prior listening. Think of it not as manipulation, but as strategic affirmation. You are highlighting aspects of individuals that align with their self-perception or that they genuinely take pride in. This ethical application of flattery strengthens bonds and creates a more positive environment for interaction, enhancing your subtle influence without resorting to deceit. The careful application of judicious flattery builds a reservoir of positive sentiment, making others more inclined to view you favorably and trust your judgment. This leads directly to our next law, which addresses the crucial aspect of navigating trust in your relationships. Being selective with your trust an essential component of the Machiavellian mindset. Having learned to use flattery ethically, you must now turn your attention to law. 9. Be selective with your trust. This principle is paramount in a complex world, advocating that you grant your full confidence only to those who have repeatedly proven their loyalty and integrity through consistent action, not just words. Your trust is a valuable commodity, not to be dispensed lightly. You will observe that indiscriminate trust can be a significant vulnerability, leaving you exposed to betrayal or exploitation. A Machiavellian mindset demands a pragmatic assessment of individuals based on their track record and observable behavior, rather than immediate impressions or emotional appeals. This isn't cynicism, but prudent self-preservation. This selective approach allows you to build a reliable inner circle while maintaining a cautious distance from others. You can engage with many, but confide in few, thereby protecting sensitive information and your strategic plans. It's about discerning who truly aligns with your interests and who might pose a risk, an essential for psychological power. Consider historical lessons where unchecked trust led to downfall. These serve as powerful reminders of the need for vigilance. Your interactions with the wider world should be collaborative and respectful, yet always tempered with a degree of healthy skepticism, ensuring you are never caught off guard by unforeseen motives. By carefully vetting those you allow into your deepest confidence, you strengthen your position and minimize potential threats. This strategic discernment extends beyond choosing confidants. It also informs the timing of your actions, leading us to our next law, mastering the art of delay, a powerful aspect of strategic patience. With a clear understanding of selective trust, you are now ready for law. 10. Master the art of delay. This principle emphasizes that strategic patience and the careful timing of your actions can be far more effective than impulsive haste. You learn to wait for the opportune moment, allowing circumstances to align in your favor rather than forcing outcomes prematurely. You will find that premature action can often lead to unnecessary obstacles or reveal your hand too soon. By deliberately delaying, you allow situations to develop, observe how others react, and gather more information before committing. This measured approach ensures your moves are calculated and impactful, maximizing your psychological power. This isn't about procrastination, but about strategic foresight. You are actively waiting, not passively. You are assessing the environment, identifying potential pitfalls, and preparing alternative paths. This disciplined patience, echoing principles of Stoicism, allows you to act when the conditions are most favorable for your objectives, minimizing risk. Consider complex negotiations or strategic maneuvers. The individual who can wait out their opponent often gains a significant advantage. The other party, driven by impatience, may make mistakes or reveal weaknesses. Your calm endurance becomes a weapon, compelling others to show their hand before you do. The ability to delay and choose your moment wisely is a hallmark of a truly strategic mind. This calculated patience is closely tied to another vital skill, maintaining an unflappable composure, which allows you to remain steady amidst external pressures. Following the wisdom of strategic delay, you arrive at Law 11. Develop an unflappable composure. This core principle demands that you cultivate an inner calm and external steadiness, ensuring that you remain unperturbed by provocations, setbacks, or emotional appeals. Your emotional control becomes your greatest shield and a potent display of strength. You will realize that losing your composure in critical moments exposes vulnerability and grants power to those who provoked you. By maintaining a serene demeanor, you deny adversaries the satisfaction of seeing their efforts affect you, thus diminishing their influence and reinforcing your psychological power. This is a direct application of emotional control. This unflappable nature extends beyond mere stoicism. It's about projecting an impenetrable self-possession. Even under immense pressure, your voice remains steady, your expressions neutral, and your actions deliberate. This consistent calm reassures allies, intimidates opponents, and prevents rash decisions stemming from emotional reactions. Imagine a chess master who never shows frustration, even when facing a difficult move. This unwavering poise indicates a deep level of control and confidence, making the opponent question their own tactics. You can similarly project this aura, making others hesitant to challenge you as they sense an underlying strength. This mastery over your own emotional landscape empowers you to observe and respond strategically rather than react impulsively. Such self-command is vital for navigating complex human interactions, setting the stage for the final laws of the Machiavellian Code, which emphasize adaptability and principled action. As we reach the culmination of our code, Law 12 reminds you to never act out of spite or fleeting emotion, always maintaining a clear, rational purpose behind your actions. Your efforts should be directed towards achieving specific ethical outcomes, not towards revenge or petty displays of power. This reinforces your genuine psychological power and integrity. Law 13 urges you to adapt and evolve, recognizing that no strategy is static. The world is constantly changing, and your approach to influence must remain flexible, informed by continuous learning and self-reflection. Embrace new information, adjust your tactics, and grow your understanding of human behavior to maintain your strategic edge. To realistically implement these laws, begin by practicing self-awareness. Observe your own emotional responses and communication patterns. Start with small, controlled experiments. Practice active listening. Maintain a reserved demeanor in casual conversations, and deliberately pause before responding. These incremental steps build foundational skills. Remember, the goal is not to become a shadowy manipulator, but to understand the subtle dynamics of power and influence for self-mastery and ethical engagement. This knowledge empowers you to protect yourself from manipulation, cultivate stronger relationships based on understanding, and achieve your goals with integrity and a deep Machiavellian mindset. The Machiavellian Code, when approached ethically, provides a framework for sophisticated self-governance and keen social awareness. It's about understanding the game, not playing it dishonestly. Continue to explore, question, and apply these insights thoughtfully. Your journey into psychological power and stoicism is ongoing. If you found this discussion thought-provoking, consider sharing it with someone who values genuine intellectual growth. See you in the next video.